Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to review a new perfume. I have not tested it out yet, so technically it's a first impressions. We'll go. I did get a sample of it. You know how when you go shopping for, if you need to purchase anything, in my case, usually I need refills for my beauty routine. It's a mousse, washing, lotion, or cream, or what have you. And then the lovely sales associates, you know, if they know you and they know I love perfume, so they always kind of throw in some samples for me, which is a lot of fun. And then I get to kind of experiment with them with you. And so today we have a Maison Kurkdjian Petit Matin. Petit Matin, Petit Matin. The Little Morning. This is the name of the eau de parfum. And we're gonna test it out together. I'm gonna read to you what the text says here. We're gonna spritz it on. We're gonna experience it together. We're gonna talk about the prices. We're gonna talk about a lot of things, really. First, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. Superdacob all spelled together there as well for extra perks. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week on my main Superdacob channel. So go follow me there to partake in the live chats. Hello to my co-chatters. You guys, really important to note, I am trying to be on one end more sustainable, but also be more conscious consumer. So, and I've said this in a lot of my other perfume videos, but it kind of, I think, is interesting to repeat this concept from time to time. You know, we don't need to spend a ton of money on perfumes all the time. I know some people are obsessed and they need to buy a new perfume bottle twice a week or twice a day. But it is actually good to slow down a little bit and to buy what you really, really love and give yourself the time to enjoy what you love before you buy the next perfume. Spend time with your perfume. You don't need to buy a new perfume every day. Sometimes I get lucky, and when I buy a cream or something, I get these samples, and I think to myself, why not review a fragrance from a sample? You know, we don't always have to buy a full bottle in order to experience a perfume. And I think it's kind of nice sometimes to also go into a simpler direction where we can enjoy a perfume together. We get to review it together without necessarily owning a full bottle and without having spent a lot of money. And in fact, we're going to touch base on the pricing of Maison Kurkdjian in this video as well, because I have prepared the price list for Petit Matin. So let me spray it on. So this is just to let you know. I know that a lot of people love to review full bottles and they're like, oh my God, he's reviewing a sample. Sorry. I'm trying to be more conscious consumer here. You're not going to see me unbox brand new bottles often. I'm very, very, very cautious at how many new bottles I want to add to my collection. I'm cautious and careful about my space. I'm more cautious and careful about my wallet. And I'm also more cautious and careful about the assimilation, the absorption of fragrances and the stories that they tell me. Sometimes a perfume just needs several months for it to tell me a full story. And I don't want to spoil that storytelling by having purchased another 20 perfumes in the meanwhile. I'm taking my time, taking it slow. We should all slow down a little bit. It's always fun if we get a sample per chance to review it and have fun with it. That's fine, but we don't need to buy everything we test. That's just my opinion. Take it with a pinch of salt, if you may. Oh, okay. Right off the bat, it reminds me of Moschino I Love Love, the cheap and chic flanca from many, many years ago. Total cheap and chic I Love Love vibes, but done in a more elegant way with better ingredients. Petit Matin says, rise at dawn and escape into the delicious freshness of an early morning in Paris to rediscover a taste of beauty, or a taste for beauty. This is what the text of the perfume actually says. Let yourself be carried by the luminous energy of Lychea cubeba from Indonesia and lemon from Calabria, the floral softness of hawthorn and lavandine from Provence. Then get lost in a labyrinth of musky and ambery notes. This fragrance was first released in 2016. Francis Kurkdjian is the nose behind it. He's currently the artistic director of the fragrances at Maison Dior. What do they tell us? Italian lemon, orange blossom, musk, lavender, ambroxan, and hawthorn. Now, I have my issues with hawthorn, and you probably know if you follow my channel. Although I am getting more and more used to hawthorn, so the thing is, there are two particular fragrances that are very strong in the hawthorn genre, in my book. One of them being an abstract, dry, borderline bitter hawthorn, and that would be Comme des Garçons' homonymous fragrance entitled Comme des Garçons, aka also known as tape. It's officially not called tape, but it resembles the smell of tape, office supplies, brand new opened computers, and so on. It comes in, and I've reviewed Comme des Garçons' homonymous fragrance / tape on my channel, so go check out that review as well. It is a hawthorn heavy fragrance where the hawthorn is treated in a very abstract conceptual way. The second hawthorn, which is imbued in honey and imbued in a sickly sweetness, which is more prone to hawthorn, less conceptual, but more quality drenched, would be the hawthorn in Chanel's Les Exclusives Beige. And we know, I mean, if you know me, you know Beige has been the last Les Exclusives, and I love my Les Exclusives Chanel perfumes, but Beige was the last one that I actually acquired. I had really huge issues with Beige for the longest time. I do have a full 200 ml bottle of Beige, and it's the last Chanel Les Exclusives fragrance that I have not reviewed as of yet. And now we have this hawthorn, Petit Matin. It is dry, clean, citrusy, but not too citrusy. The musk is already kicking in. There is a subtle warmth there, almost bitter. And here again, it's the hawthorn. The hawthorn has this nature. You know, this one goes a little bit between tape and beige. It's not sweet like beige, or it doesn't have that resinousy aspect of beige. It's not abstract as Comme des Garçons' homonymous Comme des Garçons perfume. It has hints of what used to be, maybe some of you still own in your collection. It's been discontinued since many years, but Gautier's, I think it was called Cologne du Matin, like a morning cologne. It had a bottle that had it was shaped like a brick wall, but it also has a little bit of similarity to Mugler's cologne, which I adore. The green one, the one that looks like alien green color in a big chunky bottle. I adore Thierry Mugler's cologne, by the way. And this is that vibe, but guess who made this perfume? Francis Kurkdjian. And I have a sneaky suspicion that he wanted to reclaim ownership of a fragrance that he, many, many moons ago, in the 90s, I believe, created for another brand. So he doesn't own the rights. I mean, we know that he created that perfume, but he doesn't really own the rights to that perfume because that perfume belongs to Elizabeth Arden. And that perfume would be green tea. And now, Francis Kurkdjian is the nose behind green tea. And Petit Matin almost smells like a more limited edition version, niche-y version with a little bit better ingredient, like less mass-produced ingredients version of green tea to my nose. Now, is it one-to-one green tea? No, absolutely not. It's not at all. But it has that fullness, it has that plumpness that I sense, especially in more vintagey bottles of green tea, if they didn't go stale. Because I mean, it has been reformulated a bunch of times as well. Still a beautiful perfume. People love it, by the way. Green tea, the review of green tea that I've done on my channel, is one of the videos that got the most amount of views, which is always an indicator to me of what the masses in general like. What are people looking for? What sort of reviews are people looking for? And it seems like people are really, really on a regular basis looking for the review of green tea. This one is like green tea, but it is more citrusy, right? It is on that cologne spectrum. Zesty. It has that ambroxan that gives it a bit of a bite. Just enough synthetic reverberations in there to make it smell more modern and futuristic, while at the same time connecting it to the past, old school quality colognes, even though, here's the plot twist, what did Francis do here? He didn't create a cologne concentration for Petit Matin. No, what he did was an eau de parfum. So he's delivering to us an eau de parfum as a cologne. And I've read quite a few reviews in preparation to this, trying to figure out what other people have to say about this. And it seems like a lot of people are very surprised to note that the perfume begins citrusy, light. Yes, it has that synthetic vibe, ambroxan musk. And they feel like, oh, it's like a little zestier version of a cologne. But then they're all surprised, or most of them are quite surprised when they realize 4, 5, 6, 7 hours in, the perfume is still projecting. And the perfume is still silaging. And it's going strong. And it fills a room, apparently. Now, for me, as a first impression, this is not a room filler. Although I could see how the hawthorn, because the hawthorn has a tendency, it's like a razor. It kind of cuts through. It's dry. It's stubborn. That's the word I was looking for. Hawthorn is a stubborn accord. It doesn't really allow you to mess with it too much. It goes in its own direction. It does what it does. Itchy. Don't do this at home. I'm a professional scratcher. To not destroy my makeup, I just pat the spot that's itching. Anyway, so Hawthorn has this attitude, right? And it's stubborn. This one is stubborn. It has that stubbornness about it. But then it has that citrusy opening, which dissipates relatively soon. But then you discover later on the ambroxan and the musk, although the ambroxan is already here. It's like already giving. Jackie says, I love green tea, and I personally love most of Elizabeth Arden perfumes. Still to this day, even after all the reformulations, a lot of Elizabeth Arden perfumes are really, really... Fifth Avenue is amazing as well. Very Sex and the City. Yeah, Audrey, yeah, 23,000 views already on green tea video. Yeah, people love the green tea, you guys. I mean, so this is delicate. It's subtle, but it's very interesting. It almost feels like Francis went into cologne territory, but like kind of created a three-directional version of a cologne. So in one direction, we have the citruses of a cologne. And then in another direction, we have the musky ambroxan synthetics, which are not really cologne. They actually create depth and longevity. So that's the eau de parfum nature of this, the eau de parfum nature of this fragrance, which is not cologne at all. And then third direction, hawthorn, which is the opposite of a légère, carefree cologne vibe, because hawthorn is the opposite of that. Hawthorn is very precise, very moody, very its own thing. It's not, oh, let me take a shower early in the morning and splash on a cologne to feel refreshed and simple. No, simply clean. Absolutely not. Hawthorne is more of a night accord. It is like, yes, I cleaned myself in the morning and I spent the whole day working in the office or doing whatever I had to do. Now I have a bit of that musky smell of sweat on me, but I'm still clean. I mean, it's been only it's been 10 hours since I showered, okay? So yeah, technically you could wash again, but you're still not a ratchet, okay, smelling. But Hawthorne is kind of, it hints at the, we're about to get dirty. That's Hawthorne. That's how stubborn it is. It's green, of course, duh. We got the green room here also because in preparation of the review of this one, I prompted my AI to generate this backdrop. I also wanted it to look a little bit like Francis's own apartment. You know how Francis sometimes does interviews? You can see on YouTube Francis Kurkdjian's interviews, and he's sitting in his home, and if he's doing like a call in, he did that during the lockdowns a lot, right? Well, not a lot, but those rare times that he did do an interview from home, you have a feeling of his Parisian apartment or whatever, So I kind of, this is not his apartment, but I thought, oh, maybe, if Francis is sitting here planning his next perfume masterpiece, He likes his greens. It's interesting how I always say, Francis's best work is usually done for other brands, not for himself. I mean, Le Mal, hi. Anybody? I know a lot of people don't like Le Mal, but to me, it's still a master. I adore Gaultier's Le Mal. I will never not adore that masterpiece of a 90s fougère fragrance. Okay, I love Au Noir that he did for Dior, the first version, the Cologne version of Au Noir in particular. Cologne Blanche is also amazing. It's as if when he does a perfume for his own brand, it's as if he takes his creations that he delivered for mass consumption at these brands like Gaultier, Elizabeth Arden, Dior, and then he reduces them to more sophisticated, cleaner ingredients and revisits his formulas, because this is quintessentially Francis Kurkdjian. I mean, he knows his Cologne-esque vibes because Le Mal is a Cologne type of fragrance at the end of the day. Au Noir is a heavy Cologne, but still a Cologne. And even green tea. It's a very precise, specific type of Cologne vibe to a fragrance. So what we have here is reduction. Also in cuisine, in modern cuisine, you can say, oh, we've created the reduction, in a recipe. But it is higher level quality. You smell that this is not mass. It's also not la-di-da niche, It's not acting like a sophisticated, bougie, snobby niche. It's not. It's giving, everybody can understand this. It's not too conceptually niche, but it's also giving, hey, we're not producing too much of this. It's not a mass-released product, so we can afford to get better ingredients for it. So it's a nice in-between. It's fluctuating in between hardcore niche and mass, right? So it smells more sophisticated than Francis's mass-release perfumes, but it doesn't smell too complicated, wannabe, like certain niches. It's right in between, in a very good way. So I'm pleasantly surprised about that. That is really good, in my opinion at least. Of course, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. Oh, thank you, Coco Convert. Dacob, the way you describe perfumes is a true gift. The comparisons take one on a journey. evoke emotions. Chapeau. Chapeau bas. Oh, thank you. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much, sweetie. Is it the ambroxan in this one or the lavender? I mean, listen, the lavender, orange blossom, the lavender. Okay. Francis, maybe I'm wrong here, you guys, but in my humble opinion, every perfumer has their signature, like every designer has their signature color. Valentino used to have red. Then Piccioli came and messed it up with his pink. But Chanel had or has, Tyrian pink, Tyrian red, beige, black, well, gold. Well, she has a lot. Okay. But designers have colors. Gaultier has blue and white stripes and so on. With perfumers, it's either chords or genres. Olivier Polge, Dominique Ropion, they are masters of white florals. Francis Kurkdjian is the master of lavender, period. And no other perfumer does lavender like he does. And in fact, we got lavender in here as well. Even though the lavender in here, it's a synthetic. In fact, what did they mention? The lavandine extract of lavender from the Provence. Le Mal is all about lavender. Au Noir is all about lavender. Yes, there's also licorice and fennel in there, and Immortel and a lot of other things, but it's the lavender. Okay. There's something about how he manages to dominate lavender to not make it smell cheap, because there's a lot of lavender oils out there that you can buy for the home. There's a lot of different versions of lavender and extracts of lavender, and some are totally synthetic, some are less. Lavender can smell just like patchouli. You can get that really cheap smelling fake synthetic patchouli, but you can get the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Same with lavender. Francis has a way of finding always the lavender that is going to elevate a fragrance rather than making it smell cheap and phony. And this is really, 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 really beautiful. Oh, thank you. Rachel says this is a really great analysis of his work, Dacob. Thank you. Very kind of you, Rach. This is a white shirt type of perfume. Okay. Yeah, your classic cliche, you're taking a shower, you're putting on the cologne, and you're freshly shaved, and you have the white poplin shirt or cotton shirt, whatever shirt white. It is that type of vibe, but it's sexy. It's not just clean. The Hawthorne, there's dirt in there. Same with Le Mal. Same with Au Noir. It's flirty. And this type of flirtation, we can see it's in the nature of Francis. Francis Kurkdjian, you guys, is one of actually the only one that I know of. Oh no, Quentin Biche is also very kind. He also, we also had several exchanges through DMs with each other. He's also, but Francis Kurkdjian actually, of these big major perfumers that now got a position as head of Dior fragrances, right? His DMs on Instagram, I don't know, as of now, when you watch this video later in the future, maybe it won't be the case anymore, but they're open. And in an interview, he actually said once, you can find that interview on YouTube somewhere, he said, I try to answer personally to as many DMs as I can. I want to keep the conversation going with the people that wear my perfumes. And when I reviewed New Look for Dior, which, by the way, I adore. A lot of people do not like his version of New Look, not 1947 New Look, which is another perfume that Demachy did for Dior, which I also own in my collection, which I have also reviewed. So forget about that for a second. We're talking about Francis's New Look. I made a review of the perfume. I posted to my Instagram. by the way, you can follow me on Instagram to get all the deets on all the news of stuff that I'm working on and posting. Superdacob backup, all spelled together. So in my Insta stories, I post an Insta story about new look, about the review that I just posted to Essentially Dacob. And I say, guys, go check out my new video. I just reviewed it. And I add Francis Kurkdjian to my Insta story. Okay. And that's it. I didn't write him or anything. He wrote me. And this is not like, oh, Dacob, you're such a good... No, no, no. He didn't write me because I'm amazing. I do not think I'm amazing whatsoever. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. He wrote me because he writes everyone. He's just that nice. He's really, really nice. And he wants to keep the conversation going with his consumers, users, fans. Call us whatever you want to call us. I am a fan of Francis's work. I don't like everything he does. Not a fan of Baccarat Rouge, okay? Not a fan whatsoever. But whatever. We'll go. Doesn't matter. You can't love everything. That's okay. That's fine too. At least I'm honest about it. So, I'm not a fanboy that's going to love no matter what he does, no matter how he does it. I have respect for that perfume, but I don't want to wear it myself. It's just not for me. But I digress. So he wrote me and I said, hey, oh, thank you so much. Like, would you care to see the video? Here's the link again. I sent him a DM and he said he watches. Oh, thank you so much for making the video. So, really, really very, very kind of him. By the way, in the new look video, I throw shade at Baccarat Rouge. He still replied to me very kindly, okay? And it was very, very, very polite. But there's something about the way he is open to communication, which makes him zesty and flirtatious. By the way, he was not flirtatious. He was very professional in the DMs. There was no weird stuff going on in the DM. Absolutely not. Very professional, but kind. But the mere fact that a perfumer at his level is open to communicating, with people who wear his products, and he's open to his perfume, and he's open to hearing and listening what we think about that. That's amazing to me. So this is why I'm saying that this perfume to me, the little morning, the Petit Matin, is that clean, fresh shirt when we wake up in the morning and, feeling like P. Diddy. And not anymore, we don't, because he canceled after everything that we've heard about him. But the song is funny, still to this day. Also, because it's not his song anyway, right? We digress again. Chime all over the place. It's zesty, it's clean, but it's also a little bit flirtatious. It's open for a conversation. It's not just your clean cologne like 4711. It's just a clean, wonderful smelling perfume. I love 4711, by the way, but it is what it is. As they would say in Italian, lascia il tempo che trova. Look it up, as Madonna would say. And Francis, if you're watching, I know you love Madge. We all love Madge. So there you go, a little Madonna quote for you. Francis will be tickled. But this one is open for conversation. It's a cologne that you wear not just to smell clean, but it's a cologne that you wear because you also want to signal to people, approach me. Approach me. Let's talk. I'm not just this preppy Beijing beard painted on type that is so over the top clean and preppy that I really do not like when guys are like that, by the way. Just FYI, when somebody's too clean and too preppy, it's repellent to me. I need a little bit of dirt. I need a little bit of imperfection. I need that beard to not be perfectly trimmed. I need to have something that's slightly off. That attracts me very much. Okay, if you are perfectly symmetrical and perfectly clean and coiffed, and you're giving me the impression that you just spent 10 hours working on making it all look dandy, yeah, no, then I'm like, no, oh God, no, this guy's going to spend more time in front of the mirror than he is going to spend talking to me. Please, you're welcome. Spend more time with yourself. You obviously don't need me in your life. You see, that's the kind of signal that they give me. But this is not that clean. It's not that perfect. something is slightly off in a good way. That's what makes it attractive. It lures me in because it's not perfect. It lures me in because did he actually take a well, by the way, it's a unisex fragrance. They describe it as also on the Francis Kurkdjian website as for ladies and gentlemen. And you don't know if this person is actually, if this person sprayed this perfume on because they're doing their walk of shame. They haven't actually slept at home that night, right? But the perfume still makes them smell clean enough so that they're wearing the same outfit from yesterday and they're going to the office, and you're like, oh, okay. There's something slightly animalic here. Well, of course, it's the musk, even though it's a synthetic musk, but it's sexual. That's what I'm trying to say. But in a stubborn way, and that's the hawthorn again. Yeah, I'll with the clothes from yesterday, I'm gonna go to the office tomorrow. Okay, I'm stubborn enough. I'll get away with it. Now, the only thing that we do not get away with is the price tag, because I'm looking on their website, and here's the deal, y'all. 6.8 fluid ounces, which equals 200 milliliters, which if we compare to Chanel, of course, because the love of my life, here we got Comet. Coincidentally, this is 200 ml bottle. This is how big 200 ml is, okay? Well, Francis wants $465 for 200 ml of Petit Matin. And sorry for my green screen here, but there you have it. Natural spray, 6.8 ounces, $465 as of today. Prices keep going up though, so who knows how much they're going to cost in the future. Then we got 2.4 fluid ounces, which is equivalent to 75 mil. 75 mil are going to cut you back $240. And now we are at Chanel prices, actually. No, it's actually more expensive than Chanel. Well, if you're looking at Chanel Les Exclusives Euro price, which are $100 cheaper than in America, which is also insane. Why is Chanel charging $100 more in the States than it is in Europe? But only for their Les Exclusives. But for their Les Eaux fragrances, it's the same price in Europe and in America. Makes no sense. Make it make sense, Chanel. Then for the 40 mil, this is insanely expensive. 1.2 fluid ounces is $150. I mean, that's Dior. This is Dior prices, you guys, right? This is Dior Collection Privée prices. So now, some of his perfumes cost more, some cost less. I think Baccarat Rouge is in a higher price range, even though Baccarat Rouge is also available as an eau de parfum. They have a higher concentration of Baccarat Rouge as well. But since Petit Matin is an eau de parfum, and kind of comparatively, I'm like, okay, Petit Matin is eau de parfum, Baccarat Rouge is eau de parfum. So price-wise, I'm kind of thinking they should be the same. Still, because it's in the realm of cologne vibes, this should not go over $200 for me for a 200 ml bottle, because it is, for its nature, it's very pricey. Mini Jeffrey says he also has 3 times 11 milliliter for €115 on the EU website. Yes, he also has it in the States for $150. Here it is, 3 times 0.37 fluid ounces. So you can get these, but it's called refills, but I cannot see the... So I was looking for the original packaging because this is like 3 refill spray. See, they call it eau de parfum refills. But I don't see him selling online the actual original container for the refills. maybe that's discontinued and now he's still making available the refills, but you can't purchase the actual flask or whatever it is that the refills were contained in. But yeah, $150 for 3 refills of, so what does it add up to be? 33 mil? $150 for 33 mil? Cha. Why do the refills cost more than a single bottle? The single bottle is 40 mil. Single bottle, 40 mil, is $150. 3 refills, which you can't use on their own, I mean, you can, but they don't have a lid, so 3 refills of 33 mil are $150. So it's better to buy one bottle 40 mil for $150 than 3 little bottles that add up to be 33 mil for $150. Catch my drift? The math ain't mathin', in my humble opinion. So, final verdict. Love the smell. Beautiful cologne-esque vibe for an orange blossom. He's also a mastered orange blossom. By the way, speaking of orange blossom and neroli, another masterpiece by Francis Kurkdjian is another Gaultier perfume that has unfortunately been discontinued, and I wish they would bring it back. La Fleur du Mal, which is playing with the word of Baudelaire's text, but it's not the flowers of evil, but it's the flowers of man. A masterpiece of a perfume, also lavender in there. Of course, it's a flanker of Le Mal, but that orange blossom and neroli in La Fleur du Mal it's just on another level of beauty, in my opinion, okay? So again, this is kind of in that territory. It's like a lighter version of La Fleur du Mal. And again, we have this thing that I was saying earlier in this video. Francis has this tendency of delivering these hyper high-toned, high-pitched fragrances for the mass releases for the bigger brands, and then when he reins it back in and creates his own perfume for his own brand, he tones it down and uses more sophisticated ingredients. And this is kind of, it is like Fleur du Mal, a lighter version of Fleur du Mal, which, you know, I love. But again, you could, back in the day, get Fleur du Mal for $40. You know, not $500. So, or $450 or $350. So the price is a little bit too high. Rachel says fragrance prices have been out of control in general lately, and I believe the industry is being investigated for price fixing in the supply chain, etc. I'm glad you're talking about pricing. No, the pricing is insane, Rachel. And it's interesting that the industry is being investigated for price fixing, but then again, investigated how? Because I mean, it's the law of supply and demand. I think you can just price however you want your perfume if people are willing to pay exorbitant amount of money for it, right? I don't know, but Fleur de Mal is incredible. Unfortunately, discontinued since many years, and hence the prices for Fleur de Mal on secondhand websites is astronomical now, right? But when it was readily available, different story. Different story. Oh, Rachel says, I believe the EU is looking into the oil houses. Interesting. How is that going to turn out? Very curious to see how that's going to turn out to be. But anyway, my final verdict. Costs too much for what it is. Beautiful perfume that resembles Francis's work, some of his best, actually his best works in the lavender fields. See what I did there? Fields, I meant categories for other brands, but reined back in, simplified and purified, rarefied and purified. It just needs to cost, you need to chop at least half the price off. And you got yourself a beautiful, flirtatious little fragrance that resembles, actually that represents Francis's best work. He's the master of lavender, you guys, period. And of orange blossom while we're at it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and prayers down below. What do you guys think about this one? Is it worthy of a full bottle at this price or not for you? Hey, Francis, if you were to send me a bottle for free, I would be very happy. But I'm not going to spend $465 on a full 200 ml bottle on this one. There you have it. But still, Love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thumb up the video if you've enjoyed it. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Bye.